Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I am your host, the Ranting Monkey. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
And I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Long time. I love this. I love this shit, Jack. Makes me happy. And I got to be honest. I like the way Trump debates. I know we're not supposed to. We're supposed to want to be all civilized and shit. But I don't believe in that nonsense. I don't believe in fake civility. So I enjoyed it. How you doing tonight, Jack?
I'm doing all right. It's been a weird day.
Yeah?
Yeah, just odd, you know. But before we get too invested here, I do have to drop the link to Grisella's Deviant Art.
Oh my God, yes. Thank you for doing that. And while you're doing that, tall person, thank you so much before the stream who said, Happy National Mocha Day, everyone. And in half an hour, Happy National Hot Mulled Cider Day. Can't stay long just to say hi and good night. Good night. I hope you sleep well, and thank you for the donation.
Yeah, have fun.
I want to speak about donations and stuff real fast, Jack.
Okay.
We got a comment from somebody who was they said they really wish they could buy stuff from us. And here's the thing, guys. We appreciate all donations. We appreciate all purchases, but it is not expected of anyone. We're just happy to have you here. So if you can donate, please do so, because it is how we buy our ramen and whatever the hell Jack eats. Jack, what do you eat?
I eat, mostly ramen lately.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I eat a lot of chicken mainly.
So hit the like button, hit the share button, and if you can, absolutely donate. But if you can't, it's okay. Just hang out and listen to the show and share us with your friends if you can.
Yeah, don't ever feel bad about that.
No.
Just if you can share the link on social media, that would be nice. But if not, whatever.
Yeah, just hang out and listen. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah.
God, that debate, man. I don't know where I want to begin. I think I want to begin with the did you watch it, Jack?
Oh yeah. I was over on Sin's stream on Twitch watching it.
I want to start with the format, because I think the format was garbage. And I'm not even talking about moderation yet, because we'll get to that in a few. Chris Wallace said that he wanted to take a hands-off approach, be mostly invisible. And here was the format. They would ask a question, and each guy gets 2 minutes to answer. No rebuttals. Who the fuck agreed to that?
I don't think they agreed to no rebuttals. I think there was a fundamental misunderstanding of what was intended there. He meant no rebuttals. They didn't know that he meant no rebuttals.
I just listening to that setup, I'm like, that is stupid.
Yeah.
Especially when you know they're going to be going at each other for their records.
Yeah. That makes it, the format was way too loose. It was too much of he wanted it to be very, very strict, but it ended up creating this chaos. It was like herding wildcats up there. You can't have no rebuttals. That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was to give Biden a bit of a heads up, because then he won't have to come up with any evidence or anything. He could just say random shit, which he did.
He did. Often. Jordan, thank you so much. Hi, not Jack, and Jack Supreme. Hello.
Hi.
The format was trash, and yeah, I think it was probably to help Biden, and we'll get to that more in a little bit too. But I do want to get to the deviant art thing. Grisella made a comic book, and it's the link up there that Random American put into chat a little bit ago, and
it's the link again.
It's amazing. It's a Lords of the Night one that it has so much lore in there, just tucked in. It also has guest appearances by so many people, including you.
Yeah.
I really like that avatar.
I do too. I was gonna talk to him about that. I thought that he did a really good job on that, so I really dig that. I was gonna see if I could buy it off of him.
I laughed my ass off at so many parts of that, so many of the lore moments that if you only started watching in the last, say, 2-3 months, you might not get a lot of it. But it's still a fun read, even if you don't. Those little lore moments are awesome. Pincalo, thank you, says, think Biden will have lids until the next debate. Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Which is 2 weeks away because the next debate is going to be the vice presidential debate next week. And then the week after that, we'll have the presidential debate. And the week after that, I believe it is, we have another one. That wasn't a debate. That was Trump beating a dead horse named Biden by the end. Seal, thank you so much. That comic was just awesome. That comic was amazing. Grisella did such a good job. I actually want to see about getting a panel of it, like, done up as art.
Oh, yeah. He's a fantastic artist.
He really is. And it turns out a pretty good writer, too.
Yeah. Real fast, thank you, tall person, for the donation. Don't think I've forgotten you. I didn't forget you either. Thank you.
All right, back to the debate. I guess the next elephant in the room is named Chris Wallace. What a shitty moderator.
He was awful.
Just awful.
And his bias was showing through the entire thing. He asked Trump to denounce white supremacists like the Proud Boys. Well, the Proud Boys aren't designated as a white supremacist organization, especially because we've met a black guy from there.
A black Jew, by the way.
Yeah, a black Jew. And yeah, sorry, tall person, that's all that came through. But yeah, and then he was like, he asked Trump to denounce that, but he didn't ask Biden to denounce BLM or Antifa for their actions.
I'm glad you brought that up because I almost started the show with the video that's on the screen right now. Because that question started with Chris Wallace asking about Trump saying very fine people on both sides, which, by the way, Biden had said earlier. Now, I want to play this clip because this is from the same fucking press conference where he made the very fine people comment.
Okay, good.
That is really low.
Yeah.
There we go.
We're going to take down the statue because he was a major slave owner. Now we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that.
Mr. President, are you willing to condemn white nationalists?
He's done it several times.
I'm going to throw that link into chat, and while I'm doing that, thank you so much, Officer Buck. Comic is 4 out of 10, not enough for me. How dare you? That comic was an 11 out of 10. And Dark Resurrect, thank you. Howdy, Monk Jack in chat. Hooligans, howdy, sir. Here's the video if you want to see the whole thing. The beginning of it is where he makes the very fine people comment. And where I had it is where he makes the rest. He actually goes on, and he has to explain to the press in there, then he says very fine people, that he's not talking about white nationalists. He makes that very clear. But it doesn't matter. And this came up as we were watching. Scribe said, he should just answer the question. And you know what? He should have. And actually, if you listen, he does.
Yeah, he said, who do you want me to condemn?
No, even before that, when Chris Wallace starts the question, he says, Mr. President, will you right here denounce white nationalists? And he goes, sure. He said, sure, right there, before Chris even finished the fucking question.
Yeah. Real fast. Tall person, part of his message got cut off, and the rest of it was Happy National Biscotti Day. In 20 minutes, it'll be Ask a Stupid Question Day. And he asked, why was Chris Wallace such a garbage? Chris Wallace is biased. That's why.
Chris Wallace doesn't like Trump.
Yeah, that's all there was to it. And he's obviously supporting Biden because he was running interference for the man all night.
Officer Buck, thank you. Not enough me, as in there's not enough me in it. Oh, I said it wrong. I'm sorry. There's plenty of me in it. And I got to tell you that the scene with Little Butt melted my heart because we all know I'm like that. I can be in the middle of a rant, and if there's a knock on the door and that little beauty comes in here, I turn into the most sappy little thing you ever saw.
Yeah.
If you've ever listened to Lords of the Night when that happens, you know it's true.
Oh yeah, that was filled with such awesome stream lore, and the guest appearances were awesome because I was one of them. I felt very honored to be in it.
They were amazing. I liked it. And I like that you pulled a fast one on Polly.
It was so awesome. That's exactly how you'd get Polly to show up to something like that.
Yep. Enraged too, because he was ready to go. What am I doing wrong? All I can see is the cover. Well,
there should be a scroll down bar there.
It has to load, and then you have a scroll down you can do. You should be able to. On my phone, I actually had to download it to be able to see it. So, all right, Chris Wallace. His bias was obvious. He did good for the first question. That was it. From there on out, it was just horrible. You had at the end of the first segment, Joe Biden is asked if he is going to stack the court as Democrats, not Republicans, had suggested that he should do. And he asked him, will you do that? And Jack, do you have the link for the comics? Thank you, Dark Resurrect. Wait, the Lords of the Night comic got released. Link coming up.
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
He's asked, will you pack the court? And Joe Biden's answer is, I'm not going to answer that, because if I answer that, that's all it's going to become. That's going to be the only issue. Answer the damn question. And Trump's like, answer the question. And Joe's like, I'm not going to answer that question because that's what it'll be about. Like, well, yeah, you're here to answer questions so we know where you stand, jackass. Yeah. And instead of making him answer, what does Chris do? All right, we got to go on to the next segment.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch. And it was at that point, because there was, you could look at the rest of that first 15 minutes and say, okay, maybe Chris is being biased, or maybe it's just, it could go either way. But when you got to that part, it's like, there ain't no question. Ain't no question. Low Res Boy said he coddled slow Biden. He did. He absolutely did.
Yeah, he threw softballs at him the whole time, too. Oh, thank you, Pincalo, for the donation. Is it calling for Trump to denounce militia, specifically a trap constitution? Yes. Yes, he did pull that shit, too. And that pissed me off as well. There were so many loaded questions directed at Trump.
Yeah. And there were times that Chris was arguing with Trump. And not just about Trump interfering, but about Trump's answer. Like, dude, you're the moderator. Ask the question, let them answer. It was so fucking stupid.
Yep.
And there were so many times where Chris, you get 2 uninterrupted moments. That's what they agreed to. And that's what Chris Wallace kept telling Donald Trump. You got 2 uninterrupted minutes, sir. 2 uninterrupted minutes to say what you want to say, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But then during Trump's answers, he would cut in.
Yeah. Yeah. He was, it was like when Trump was reading the news and Monkey would just interrupt.
Yeah, exactly. It was ridiculous. He was so bad at this. And we know from the interview we did with Trump that he has animosity towards Trump. Why they allowed him to be a debate moderator is beyond me. They might as well have had Rachel Maddow up there. He wore his, and I'm not saying he was being liberal, because he wasn't necessarily supporting Biden. He just kept saving his ass. But he was definitely anti-Trump.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't happen.
No, you can't let your biases get in the way. It's unprofessional. And he came off like a grouchy old guy. And Trump was having to debate Wallace.
Yeah.
More of it than he was debating Biden.
I am interested what this will do to Wallace's show. I wonder if his ratings are going to dip over the next few weeks.
I don't know. It depends how many people watch this disaster.
Who won the debate? The deaf.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. Who won the debate? I think it depends on who you are. I think it depends entirely on who you are. I think hardcore Trump supporters got exactly the red meat they want. That's Trump up there just being Trump. So for them, it's an obvious win. I think if you're a Biden supporter, Trump was just lying up there. Not that Biden did good, by the way. Not that Biden held his own or anything, because he absolutely did not. But that Trump just got up there and lied like he always does and just talked over Biden the whole time. So they'll claim victory there. Independence? I don't know, man. Jack, any thoughts on who actually won?
I don't know. I thought Trump was holding his own pretty well. And he got some really good jabs in, and I could tell that he made Biden a little flustered and very angry a few times.
Yeah.
But Biden did an excellent job avoiding answering questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was intentional or just masterful dementia.
Now, I will say this, and I said it during the stream. A lot of Biden's answers, a lot of them were a little too perfectly rehearsed for me.
Yeah. Almost like he had help.
Uh-huh. It's weird to me because Scribe pointed this out before the show. He's like, it has been debunked by Chris Wallace himself that Joe Biden was given the answers. I'm like, why would he even entertain such a notion?
Yeah.
And
do you think Donna Brazil leaked them again?
Well, that's the thing. You can tell me that all you want, that he didn't get the questions. But we were told Hillary didn't have the questions either. And the only reason we know she did, it's not like they came out and told us. It's because somebody broke into the DNC database there and found it.
Yeah.
So some of his, very many of his questions or his answers were a little too perfectly rehearsed, and maybe they guessed what the questions would be. That's, I mean, possible. I'm not saying he got the questions. I'm just saying some of those answers were a little perfectly rehearsed.
Yeah.
And you could tell when he did it too, because he would turn right to the camera and just talk. Just talk.
Yeah.
He would give a little memorized speech. And again, maybe they just did that good of debate prep.
I don't know. I really don't see that. I think he probably rehearsed enough answers in advance. It wouldn't surprise me if he got the answers. And Chris Wallace was running interference for him. And I don't know. It just, something looked off.
Yeah.
But I don't think this helped Biden with the leftists that much.
I think they'll look. See, Trump kept pointing to that, and he even said at one point, "You just lost the left." This is a group of people, many of whom believe Biden forcibly sexually assaulted a woman and are voting for him anyway.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you say. He may not have helped himself, but I don't think he really hurt himself with it anyway, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's why the independence is where it really matters. And I think Biden probably hurt himself with them. But again, it's going to depend on who they are. If they're looking for a statesman, well, then Biden's their one. If they're looking for somebody who's like, no, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. Ex-Bubba Hotep, thank you so much over on the Streamlabs, who says the Green New Deal will fund itself. I do not support the Green New Deal. Yeah, I want to finish on this, and then we'll get into what they actually said here and there. In my opinion, and you have to realize that I like this kind of debate, Trump did the better job. He got in the better jabs. He clearly flustered Biden so many times.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch when Biden says something that Trump disagrees with, Trump just kind of shakes his head a little bit and like, this son of a bitch. When Trump says something Biden didn't like, he was like a schoolgirl when the popular chick's talking. She's like, oh, fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. And he'd do his little sly smile. I think he came off poorly. But again, I like a slugfest, so I enjoyed it. And I think Trump did the better job at that.
Yeah, if from the perspective of just getting down and dirty politics, Trump nailed it.
Yep.
I don't think it's really going to change a lot of minds. I think it's going to make people a little more entrenched. I think Biden probably lost a few of the far left people and some of the independents. So
Yeah.
and he's not, probably going to pick up a couple of never Trumpers, but it's not going to be enough to mitigate that. Overall, in the long run, I think Trump's probably going to. I think No One Nowhere said it best. It's going to end up being a wash for Trump, which means he probably won this.
Excuse me. Yeah, and it's like any competition where there's judges, because we're judging right now. There's not a final score at the end. It is a very biased thing whether or not you believe somebody won or lost. Yeah. It's absolutely subjective. And again, my point of view comes from I like it down and dirty, and Trump got down and dirty and got the best shots in.
Oh, those cheap shots on Hunter. Oh my God, he got him mad.
Oh, yes, he did.
I thought Biden was going to lose his shit because he was trying to bring up the dead son, and Trump went right into, oh, what about Hunter? We washed out of the Navy.
Yeah, and there's a great moment that happened there because Trump said, he got kicked out for, what was it? Did he actually, he got kicked out for cocaine? And Joe's like, no, he didn't. I'm very proud of my son who got kicked out of the military for drug use.
Yeah. He said he did get dishonorably discharged.
Yeah.
That really isn't much to work with there.
Nope. And Trump kept bringing up the $3 million from Russia.
That was really getting under Biden's skin, and that was working. That's red meat for his base. Trump's base is going to love that. And I was looking. Oh, sorry.
Real quick, Knights Armament says, I disagree. Trump missed so many opportunities to beat Biden, like not mentioning funding black colleges. Plus, he kept interrupting him instead of letting him, I'm guessing, finish. Again, it's subjective, so fair enough. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jack.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, I was watching Twitter after the debate, and I saw a lot of people saying that Trump lost because he told people to go out and be poll watchers, which is illegal. That's not what he said. He was saying, pay attention to what's going on at the polls, not stand there and watch people vote.
Paul Farrow, thank you. Wallace made Trump the underdog. I can see that view too. Because it was a 2-on-1 debate for a lot of it.
Oh, it really was. And I think that a lot of Trump's base is going to see it that way. The other side, not so much. They're going to see it as Trump was just going off wildly all the time. But
which is really weird because there were several parts where Trump would be answering something Biden specifically said. Yeah. Say COVID. Biden brings up COVID. Trump starts answering about COVID, and Chris Wallace like, sir, we're not talking about that right now. We'll talk about that next in a little bit. Like, for real?
Yeah, he won't let him answer.
Biden. Yeah, you didn't correct Biden when he said it. Wallace kind of ruined it for me in a lot of ways and this, to Trump's credit, he did well 2-on-1.
Well, the guy knows how to fight. I'll give him that.
Well, you have to remember he started in a race that was he had 15 other people he was arguing with. And many of whom came right at him every time because for some reason they all went right at Trump. And he's like, yeah, let's bring it. Let's do it. I didn't notice, and I'm sure there were some, I didn't notice any glaring inaccuracies that Trump said. To be honest, I was listening more to what Biden was saying. And Biden lied a few times. I did love when Biden brings up the very fine people on all sides and Trump says, finish the quote.
Yeah.
Say the rest of it. Biden tried to pull that himself when Trump pointed out that he called soldiers stupid bastards. And Biden goes, play the tape. Like, bitch, we have the tape, right?
Right.
We all have it. Pinkala was saying, holy shit, to what? Uh-oh. What's going on?
I don't know.
I think, oh man, I let's see the topics. What was the first topic? That was the Supreme Court. And Trump answered that almost perfectly. Almost perfectly. What is this?
Yeah, Mike Reese, the sheriff in Multnomah County, where Portland is, he's denying that he ever supported Trump because Trump said the Portland sheriff. I think he was talking about a different sheriff in Oregon that came out and said he supported him. I remember seeing a news article on that, but it wasn't the sheriff of Portland.
Fair enough. Read his first reply. So what he says is, in tonight's presidential debate, the president said the Portland sheriff supports him. As the Multnomah County sheriff, I've never supported Donald Trump and never will. Donald Trump has made my job a hell of a lot harder since he started talking about Portland, and I've never thought he'd try to turn my wife against me. Turn his wife against him.
By saying that he supported Trump, I guess.
Oh.
Stop tweeting, and
Mike's an asshole. Who cares? I did like that part where Joe's like, plenty of police support me. Name one. And again, what happened? Wallace saved his ass. It's like, name one, Joe. And Wallace like, yeah, we need to move on to the next question. I was like, anyhow. Yeah, Wallace was just horrible. He, like I said, he almost ruined this for me. I was really listening to Biden, and I wanted to know more of what Biden said. And there were so many things that Biden just didn't answer. And this has been talked about with the Biden campaign, is that they're not very forthcoming with what their actual plans are. Now, Chris went after Trump. What are your plans for healthcare? What are your plans for healthcare? He didn't do that with Biden the same way. He just kind of let that man meander and say nonsense.
Yep. Which I found very frustrating, because every time Trump started to drift off, Wallace was right on him. But he let old Grandpa Joe talk about his going to Shelbyville to get his sneakers.
We really should call him what Satsu calls him. Satsu calls Biden the Negromancer.
I like that.
And for those of you who don't understand that, that's because Biden gets to decide whether or not you're black. The Negromancer, going back to the Supreme Court thing, that opening just pissed me off, man. Because Trump has asked, people say that you're just shoving this through. And he's like, elections have consequences. We won. I'm the president until the end of this term. And it was mostly a great answer. And Biden's comeback was, the election has started. Like that doesn't change it. I think at the very beginning there, especially with when he's asked about packing the court and he refused to answer and Wallace had to save him, I think that probably hurt him with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Frank, thank you. Do you think Trump wanted harder questioning? Certainly at Biden. Biden didn't get any of those comment or any of those questions. Like, Biden accuses Trump of lying, and Trump, oh man, he just punched him right in the face. He's like, you didn't graduate at the top of your class. You graduated at the bottom.
Right.
Just right out of the gate. Bam. Chris did not ask Joe Biden a single question about his very public history of lying and plagiarism.
Yep.
Not a single one. He let Biden stand up there and call Trump a liar over and over and over again. And not once did he bring up, this is a history, a very public history that is still on record that you can still go look and see Joe Biden being a lying motherfucker. Not a single question about it. But he brings up he had the nerve to bring up very fine people on both sides. And then, did you catch when Joe Biden said the people with the torches coming out of the fields? Like, fields? They were in a park by a statue.
Yeah.
Fuck are you talking about, old man?
Well, he has been in Congress for 180 years, so maybe that happened at one point in history.
I want to play another video, Jack.
Okay.
Let's bring this one up here. It's an oldie but a goodie. I usually tell people you can go look it up, but let's look it up for him.
What law school did you attend, and where did you place in that class? And the other question is, could you quickly? I think
I probably have a much higher IQ than you do. I suspect. I went to law school.
Anybody who says they have a higher IQ, anybody who starts bringing up their IQ, I immediately think is an idiot.
Yeah, because otherwise, you should display your intelligence, not have to tell people.
Not claim it. Thank you, Dark Resurrect. Don't forget Biden called Trump a racist when Trump interrupted him on the African-American community. Yeah, look, we'll get to as much of this as I can remember right off, but yeah, there's a lot of it. All right, so he just told somebody who was asking him about his academic career that he has a much higher IQ. And then the rest happens, Jack.
School on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. In the first year in law school, I decided I didn't want to be in law school and ended up in the bottom 2/3 of my class, and then decided I wanted to stay, went back to law school, and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I won the international moot court competition. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only need 123 credits, and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
If I could say one thing, I think just in my own thought.
Now, the problem with that statement is it's all bullshit.
Shocker. Real fast. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, it's all bullshit.
Let me grab a couple of donations real quick. Thank you, Piccolo, for the donation. Were you expecting to hear Jill screaming like Adrian from Rocky when Jill started forcing his eyes to stay open near the 1 hour mark? Yes, I was absolutely waiting for her to run up and save him. Because she has his wife's sister, possibly a mommy. I don't know. And thank you, RJ, for the donation. Good news, everyone. Lion Maker got booted from YouTube, and apparently Matt Jarbo made a fool of himself again. Must be a day ending in Y. Thank you, RJ.
Now, in case you guys think I'm making it up that he made this shit up, here's this video.
Explaining to do. The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
His memory had failed him.
We're being asked for the link in chat to that video.
Oh, sure. This is these I want to say they come from the 92 election. I can't remember exactly what year that's from. But yeah, he had to come out and admit he was a lying shithead.
Yeah.
The man is a known liar. Not asked a single question about it. Meanwhile, Chris Wallace asks an absolute bullshit question about very fine people.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Enjoy that clip. Give it to your Biden supporting friends, because I don't care who you vote for as long as it's not Biden. That's from the 88 election. Thank you. That's how long this shithead has been running for president.
He's run for president, what, 3 or 4 times now? And
yeah,
he's had to drop out for various reasons. But I remember one of these, he dropped out specifically because of his lies. And I think it was from that one.
Yeah. He's not a good person. So let's see. The Supreme Court was first. He let him off the hook with, are you going to stack the court? And his answer, that answer pissed me off. I'm not going to answer that because that'll become the talking point.
Yeah, because this is a fucking debate, and that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to lay out your vision for the country.
Yeah, and that's him telling you guys, yeah, he's going to stack the court if he wins.
Yeah, and he'd rather be secretive about it and not tell you what he's doing, like an asshole.
That's exactly what they plan to do. And I will give Wallace this. In that question, at least, he did point out that it was Democrats and not Republicans saying that they were going to stack the court. Republicans haven't been out there going, hey, they're going to try to stack the court if they win. And they really should be. Yeah. They should be out there going, look, guys, out of pure spite, they're going to try to stack the court. They're going to add people to the court. For those of you like, because there's different ways to stack the court. Technically, you could say, well, Trump has stacked the court because he's nominated 3 conservative justices. That stacks it to the conservative side. When they say stack the court, they are talking about adding people to the court. They're going to add enough people to the court to make it so you have more liberal judges than you have conservatives. That's their plan.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden just wouldn't admit it. He's afraid if he says it out loud, it will become a talking point. Because it will. Not only that, it's going to start a fight because the next Republican president will just stack it more. They haven't learned what I'm starting to call the Harry Reid rule, Jack. They don't stay in power forever. When it comes to our leaders on the federal level, we tend to go back and forth. We'll have Republicans for a while, then Democrats for a while, back and forth. And they don't learn. They don't learn. This is exactly what happened with using the nuclear option to get judges through.
Yeah. It's very short-term thinking.
Like, hey, we're going to get these federal judges through by just making it easier to pass judges. And at that time, Mitch McConnell warned them, don't do this. If you do, we're going to do it to the Supreme Court when we get power.
Well, it's okay when they do it, but not when the other team does it. That's how it always seems to play out.
And so that's exactly what happened. And now they're talking about stacking the court, except for Joe Biden wants to be very, very secretive about it. Why do you think he's so secretive about that, Jack?
Probably because there's somebody in there that he knows isn't going to be liked. Maybe that Stacey Abrams or somebody like that, somebody that's going to be controversial.
Let's see if Barrett goes through, it's basically going to be a 5.5 to 3. So he would have to put, if you're going to keep it an odd number, 4 more people on the court. Because if you just added, 3 more people on the court would make it an even number. So yeah, 4 more people. He's going to add 4 people to the court just so that they can have the majority. I can't imagine why people would, or why he wouldn't want to talk about that. All right, what was up after that? I forget what they moved to next. Was it COVID?
I honestly could not keep track of anything that was going on there.
I think COVID was next. And again, I think Trump's answer was very good. Nope, thank you. Am drunk after playing drinking games during debate. Please stupefy all complex and non-complex points. Thanks much. 1, do not play drinking games. You're going to die.
Yeah, that debate probably killed 20 people.
Yeah, no shit. That debate killed more people than COVID. Be careful. You're going to end up vomiting all over yourself and sleeping in it. Oh, Rotten Corpse's birthday. Well, doesn't matter what show we're on. We do this. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotten Corpse.
Dear Rotten Corpse.
Happy birthday to you. And then right after that, oh, happy birthday, Rotten Corpse. I hope you had a good one. And then right after that, nuts depresses me. Mac Davis has died? Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble. I love me some Mac Davis, man. Baby, baby, don't get hooked on me.
Or meth.
Yeah, I grew up on some Mac Davis, man. That's sad. Fuck. For those of you like who, if you don't know who he is, he's a country singer from the 80s. He's also a songwriter. He wrote the song In the Ghetto.
In the Ghetto? That's where Kenny lives.
In the ghetto, on a cold and gray Chicago morning, another little baby child was born in the ghetto. You're supposed to do the next part where
I only know like 2 lines from that song.
Oh, it's a great song, man. It's a great song.
It is a great song, but I can never remember the lyrics because all I hear is Cartman singing it.
It's a tragic song, actually, because that child ends up getting killed at the end of that song.
Yeah. Oh, that's how country music was back then.
Elvis sang it. Yes, he did. Mac Davis did a cover of it too, but it never was as big as Elvis's. So anyhow, let's get back to where we were. Man, rest in peace, my friend. God, thanks for the memories. It was decided very early on in my childhood that Hard to Be Humble should be my theme song by my mother and my siblings. I can't imagine why.
I don't know. It's hard when you're this awesome.
It really is. It is. Yeah, I fucking love that song, man. Anyway, back to the debate. So yeah, we move on to COVID, and Trump brings up a lot of great points. He brings up, Biden wanting to shut down. There's an amazing moment where Trump brings up Biden calling it xenophobic, and Biden's like, it wasn't in relation to that. Wasn't in relation to that. Doesn't say what it was in relation to. The fact that he made that tweet, well, whoever writes his Twitter for him, right after the president closes down the Chinese border, and that the tweet says, this is not the time for Trump's xenophobia.
Yeah.
What were you talking about then?
I love that Trump brought that up, man.
You just happen to bring up xenophobia that day at that time? When Trump hadn't been out there saying anything about China. The last thing that we know he had said about China was that we needed to help them with this.
Yeah.
Hazmat, thank you. I am so fucking retarded. That's the way you can write it to make people say it. I'm sure you are. And that's all right. I hope somebody has a drool bib for you. Matt says, I knew that Monkey liked him. I really did. Mac was a great singer. He had a great voice too. But that whole segment, man, Biden was allowed to get away with shit. And that's where, it was at the end of the last segment, moving into this one, where you really see Chris starting to become the partisan hater that he was throughout the rest of it.
Yeah.
Biden is somehow going to magically make everything better when he gets into office by calling people to the White House, which apparently Trump hasn't done, even though Trump used to have him up there daily giving briefings until the press stopped covering him. Remember that?
Oh, you stop with those hate facts, mister.
I hate this, man. They're making me do it. They're making me defend Trump again.
I know, but because that's all they know how to do is make you defend Trump.
From there, we moved on to the economy, where Chris Wallace, Mr. President, while you've had job creations, it's turned out that the last 3 years of the Obama administration really created more jobs than the first 3 years of yours. That's not a loaded fucking question at all.
Right.
And Trump's like, look, they were basically handed the worst economy we've had in a long time. So what was his phrase? All they had to do was turn on the light switch. Thank you, Furry Kitten, who says, I swallow cum. I'm sure you do too. Again, I hope somebody has a drool bib for you. They're making some weird pronouncements today.
Well, you know, our audience likes to share as much as we do, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Thank you for the donations, though. Let's see. From the economy, I forget what we moved on to, because I was actually looking at it. I had to go look some stuff up during the stream at one point. I was still listening to it, but I forget what we went to next. I don't think it much matters past that, because do you think people paid much attention after like the first half?
I doubt it. I think a lot of people tuned out because there was so much back and forth arguing, you know, talking over each other. And Chris Wallace like, guys, doing his best Dave Rubin impersonation.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Stunlock, who says, but I swallow cum. I'm sure you do, sir. Like I said, just make sure you use a drool bib. You don't want to get any of that on your dress or your shirt, your man. Because apparently that stuff looks like spinach dip after a few years. So, hey, that's what Monica thought it was. Just throwing that out there. Didn't they talk about race? Oh, yeah. Was that the next one? Race and violence. And it was that is worth bringing up, because I do remember some of this, but this is where I was kind of tuned out. He wanted to make Biden or Trump denounce white supremacists, which again, he did immediately. Yeah. Go watch it. Don't take my fucking word for it. Go watch.
And he's done it several times because his daughter married a Jewish guy. His grandkids are Jewish. He doesn't like white supremacists for that reason alone.
He's been hanging out with black people for a long, long time publicly. One of the people who spoke during the RNC was Herschel Walker, who came out there to talk about this man ain't racist. Yeah, that is a narrative that was created in the press to try to bring him down at the very beginning of his campaign. Nobody ever made that claim throughout the years of him on The Apprentice, the years of him being just in pop culture. Nobody. And suddenly, oh, he's racist. Thank you, Cult of Krill. Missed out on the last 45 minutes, but hashtag Glass Joe Biden only did so well because Chris moved the subject on when it became hard for Glass Joe. You're not wrong. The Negromancer was stumbling a lot, and Wallace saved him a lot. And it might be enough for people to be like, yeah, he won. It's not for me, but again, I like a different kind of debate. I like the way Trump does it. I really do. I like it to be argumentative. Get in there, mix it up. And when Trump was allowed to do that, he clobbered fucking Biden every time.
Yeah.
But thank you for the donation, Colt. I really do appreciate it. It's a good time to remind you we're brought to you by you. Hit that like button, hit the share button, and if you can, and again, only if you can, don't feel bad if you can't, you can toss something at me or Jack or buy something from the merchandise store.
Indeed.
Yeah, I sold quite a few of the shirts already, and thank you guys for picking those up. The Monka Lantern, which is back for a limited time, guys. John Miller in chat asked, the moderator basically protected Biden. He absolutely did. He absolutely did. And I think that's going to, in the long run, hurt Biden more than the immediate. Like tomorrow, you're going to have the Biden supporters out there like, yeah, he was great. And over the next several days, I think you're going to see people pointing out Wallace saving Joe's ass.
Yeah. Time and time again.
But yeah, they bring up the thing. They want Trump to denounce white supremacists. But he didn't sit there and demand over and over that Joe denounce Antifa.
No. Why would he do that? Antifa's an idea, not an organization. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Good night, Irish Rose.
Good night. I'm gonna be so happy when this fucking election's over.
I know you will. I'll be sad again.
I know.
I'll have to wait a while for more.
Well, I like a certain amount of this stuff, but after a while it just gets tiresome. You have just these blind partisans that come in, and no matter what the reality is, they're going to defend their people till the death. And that's always a mistake, and it's annoying.
Biden started gaffing on the second question, and that's when Chris started guarding him. That's fair enough, too. Like I said, the first question seemed fine to me, and then everything after is like, oh, you're for the Biden campaign. All right. Biden should have been made to answer for Antifa, because he did kind of ask the question. And this is one of the places where Trump hurt himself because he interrupted. Sometimes it's okay to sit back and let them bury themselves, Mr. President. Sometimes. But he should have forced him. Will you denounce this stuff? Will you denounce it? Do you denounce their aims? Do you denounce communism? There's a good one, because that's one of their aims.
Yeah. Real quick, thank you, Cult Crow, for the donation. Old Jews hate Trump. He said I didn't have to read this, but I'm gonna. Old Jews hate Trump because he has something they don't. Jewish grandchildren.
That is a beautiful play on an old stereotype. That's right? Really true. That's beautiful. What will you be able to talk to Monkey about when it ends? Oh, dude, politics don't stop ever.
Yeah, politics never stop, and we run the gambit. We talk about movies and just dumb shit we've seen.
I remember way back when George Bush was elected. There were people who were talking, Rush Limbaugh's just going to crash after Clinton's gone because he'll have nothing to talk about.
I remember that.
And Rush has been doing just fine.
For 30 years.
Because politics doesn't stop. Just because there's not a certain person to point at doesn't mean there's not an ideology to point at. Or stupid things that happen to point at. Some dumbass bill to point at. There's tons of stuff to always talk about. Okay, so we had that. We had the environment at one point, didn't we?
Briefly, but that drifted into some other stuff.
Because he asked Donald Trump about the wildfires. I wish Donald Trump would have brought up the fact that the wildfires all along the West Coast that are caused by global warming stop at the Canadian border.
Yeah, and they follow I-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd have been nice.
Hyman Lineman, thank you so much. 325 watching and only 110 likes. Let's pump those numbers up. I agree. Hit that like button, y'all. And thank you, sir, for the donation. Oh, I did miss one because there was a great moment. Oh, I could have kissed Donald Trump. I don't kiss men, but I would have planted one right on his kisser. He was asked why he removed critical race theory and white privilege from the sensitivity training and in federal workplaces. And he said, because it's racist. Dark Resurrect, thank you. Law and Order was after race and violence. That was part of the same area. It was just another question in that same thing. But yeah, I could have fucking kissed him for that. He said those words. He didn't pull any punches. He didn't give a political answer just because it's racist. Like, yes, sir. Absolutely. It's absolutely racist. And the fact that it's being pushed all over our country should scare the shit out of people. Oh man, when he said that, I was like, because I had said it before he did, and he did. I'm like, wow. Dr. No said, who really won? Again, it depends on who you are. It can go either way. For partisans, it's going towards whoever they mostly support.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to your takeaway from watching that shit show, and it's going to end up being very personal for people.
I am offended that you called that a shit show. It was glorious, sir.
It was a glorious shit show.
Another great moment that happened was when Trump brings up. Okay, so Biden starts. He's getting mad because he's suddenly talking about Trump and the troops and how Trump said bad things and that McCain wasn't a loser. I really do wish Donald Trump right then would have explained why he called McCain a loser. He didn't say it about his military career. He didn't. Now, he did say that he wished or that he thought heroes were people who didn't get shot down, which, by the way, Mr. President, that's not cool. It's funny, but it's not cool. But when he called him a loser, he was talking about the fact that he lost an election to Barack Obama, which he absolutely did. That's just true.
Yep.
But and that's where Trump points out that he called that Biden had called soldiers stupid bastards. And I played the tape. Like, he can't. I mean, it's out there. We all can find it.
Yeah, we've all seen it and tweeted it. It's in my timeline somewhere.
But then Trump brings up Hunter Biden getting kicked out of the military.
Yeah. Well, Biden had brought up his son. You know, he stands on the grave of that poor dead guy so many times.
On Bo, yes.
Yeah, and so of course Trump had to be like, "What about Hunter?"
Yeah.
Real fast though. Thank you, Hyman Lineman. Just realized I never donated to you, so I thank you for the work you do to make shooters like me laugh. Hey, man, thanks for watching, and thank you for the donation. That's very nice of you.
That quote was debunked, Monkey. Which one? Where he called them stupid bastards?
Oh, no, the video's out there. I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen the video.
Yeah. He may have been joking.
Yeah.
But he absolutely said, clap, you stupid bastards, or something to that effect. I'll go find it quick.
If that's the quote you're talking about, I'd like to see where it was debunked. Probably. I did like that he brings up Hunter in that case.
Oh my God, Telemundo.
Telemundo?
Yeah, Telemundo their viewers express their preference for who won tonight's debate. 66% Trump, 34% Biden.
Holy shit.
I'm going to drop the link because it's got a picture of the screen.
Telemundo? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Real quick, Lady Gopher, thank you. Says, money for monkey. Thank you so much. And Ilhan Omar, did Trump just refuse to condemn white supremacy? No, he actually did it, if you pay attention.
Oh, Circa Zero sent us the link. Thanks, Cirque.
To what?
The stupid bastards.
Oh, I don't. Why is it on Top Chat again? God damn it!
No, he sent it on Twitter.
Okay. Well, when you said that, I noticed. Chef James, thank you. This was an interesting debate. Can't wait. Why do I have trouble saying debate when I'm talking?
You watched Biden too long?
I always skip the duh. I just call it bait. Anyway, can't wait for the VP debate next week. Pence versus Kamala. Also, my monkey mask came in finally. Let it happen. Well, I'm glad. Thank you so much for supporting the channel that way. I hope you enjoy it and stay safe out there. Thank you for the donation. I don't think the vice presidential debate is going to be all that interesting.
It'll be boring. Both of them are fairly uptight straights. They're not comedians or performers. I'll watch it, but it'll probably be kind of boring.
I think, oh my, yeah. Whew. We'll put the picture up on the screen here. Wow. Telemundo, not exactly a right-leaning organization.
Right? It's very lefty.
Wow. Who won the first debate? Biden or Trump? 66-34. That's not good for Biden. You know, I'm very curious. Real quick, thank you again, Ilhan Omar. He told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. Yep. And?
Yeah, a lot of people have been using that as a gotcha. But, I mean, they have never been designated a white supremacist group. So I don't know why Wallace would use them as the talking point. There are other groups. But I guess Trump did call the Klan a terrorist organization the other day. So
Well,
Did
you
right
know
up
why
that.
they did it that way.
Of course, because Wallace hates Trump.
The I'm sorry. They did it that way just because they want to get the Proud Boys name out there more. They're the new boogeyman.
Yeah.
You have the Proud Boys and QAnon. The Proud Boys stand up to those fucking morons in Portland, and that makes them racist, of course. Even though most of the people up there are white as fuck, burning down shit in the name of black people who are like, I ain't part of that shit. Watch the video of Kyle Rittenhouse, the one where you get to see him running across right before the first shooting. There's a black guy talking like, yeah, we have separate groups out here. The ones that were doing damage at that time, the ones who were breaking shit in that parking lot that Kyle runs through, that wasn't BLM. And that's not to say BLM is what's the word I'm looking for? Blameless, that they don't do anything wrong. But compared to Antifa, just go watch any of the riot footage. Not the peaceful protest, not when people are just walking through the streets chanting when the sun is still out. Watch when that sun goes down. Because even though outside gets darker, that crowd gets a lot whiter. Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking nonsense. Anyway, sorry to get off on a rant there. That just annoys the shit out of me because the press has to see this. And they never pay attention to it. Did Univision do a poll too? I have no idea. I'm sure everybody's doing polls right now.
Yeah, I only know because one of the guys I follow on Twitter posted that picture. So that's the only reason I don't follow Telemundo.
Thank you, Ilhan Omar. SPLC labels them as white supremacists. The SPLC has gotten a lot of things wrong. By the way, they've the SPL. Nah, I'm gonna be nice. Dark Resurrect, thank you. Oh, I got called racist at work today because I don't support the organization BLM, but I do support the idea that Black Lives Matter. Yeah, that's a whole thing going on right now too. You have to support the organization, which, by the way, is very cultish, fascist behavior.
Yeah.
And Jane, thank you. I wanted Omar's fraud to get called out during the mail-in voting part, even though it's a pending investigation and probably won't end up anywhere. It would have been nice if that got brought up, or even just the idea of ballot harvesting, because they didn't get into it very much. Trump kept mentioning these ballots that were found in the trash. Did you see that story, Jack?
Yeah.
It was only 9 ballots, 7 of which were for Trump. It's weird. 7 were for Trump and the other 2 weren't opened. Like, they'd actually been resealed.
Yeah, interesting. No, nothing to see here. Oh, thank you, Furry Kitten, for the donation. I think we all need a mass debate over the female potential candidates.
I said early on in the debate that I was getting a boner because, man, I was enjoying it. Again, I would have liked it more if Chris Wallace would have just shut the hell up and let him go at it, though.
Well, he was being invisible, not mute.
Well, yeah. In fairness, they didn't put him on screen, so he was mostly invisible, I guess.
See, spoken invisibility worked.
It was just so the moderator's so one-sided that I just can't even give any credit to the man. Polydub says, I really enjoyed Chris Wallace debating Trump, interviewing Biden, and discouraging crosstalk. Can't wait for the first presidential debates. Well played, sir. Well played indeed. Let me know if you want to hang out, man. Yeah, I think if you look at it long term, I think this helps Trump. I think the fact that the next debate is the vice presidential candidates helps Trump because this gets to sit longer. It gets to sit and people get to think about it and people watch the clips more and more. And I think that helps him because I think Biden did so badly in this. Now, this was a 90-minute debate with no interruptions. They didn't get to go sit. There were no commercial breaks. Biden did better than I thought he would with the starting to slur more and slowing down. As the night went on, he started to stutter more. And you could see him visibly sinking.
Yeah, he looked tired. Real quick, thank you, Cult of Krill, for the donation. Trump, we need to talk about Antifa, Wakanda. We need to move on. Harry Potter or some shit.
Yeah, every fucking time Joe was in a corner, that motherfucker came out and saved him. Every fucking time.
It was almost embarrassing because it made, well, first of all, it looked like they were ganging up on Trump, which they kind of were.
Mm-hmm.
And it also kind of looked like Joe was incapable of holding his own.
Yeah.
And even a basic conversation of answering questions. Because there were questions that were posed he didn't even have to answer. He would give some little rambly thing, Trump would interrupt, Wallace would jump in and just move on. And then Biden never had to answer. So I think it made Biden look really weak.
Old Guy Gamer asked me if I thought about something on Twitter. I didn't see anything.
My Twitter's going nuts right now because of all the people commenting about the debates.
Well, my Twitter's often like that. Just because, one, I follow way too many people, and two, I cause a lot of shit. Furry Kitten, thank you. Break their teeny tiny minds. Ivanka runs as a Democratic candidate in 2024. There was that exchange too where Trump is he's talking about how his children have lost millions of dollars from coming up on the Hill instead of staying in private business. I don't know that helped or hurt either. Cult of Krill, thank you so much. From this day on, his name isn't Joe Biden. It's Glass Joe Biden. I still like Negromancer. Glass Joe Biden works. Glass Joe, for those of you who don't get the reference, go look up the game Punch-Out. You ever lose to Glass Joe?
Sadly, I have. But I was
too.
like 10 or 13 or something. Maybe
I used
20.
to play Punch-Out at a pizza place. Peter Piper's Pizza there in Virginia Beach. I don't know if it's still there. But they had a Punch-Out machine. And as a fan of boxing as a kid, I want to play that. And I used to play. And the first time I ever played, Glass Joe kicked the shit out of me. Which shouldn't happen, guys. That's a gimme fight.
I lost more than a couple times. I'm not going to lie. I'm bad at games. This is why I don't have a gaming channel.
John Miller, thank you. Looks like Biden can't fight his own fights. We knew it for years. Maybe they will pick someone better like Satan. And you sad boy who says my Twitter is nothing but 3D Fuda hentai. You do you, man.
Well, you're doing better than my Twitter. Don't send me any though, because that's disturbing and nightmarish.
Fitting since both Glass Joes only won one fight. Fair enough. I mean, Glass Joe's record was 1-99 or something like that when you fight him. Man, I miss that game. That was a lot of fun. I really miss Evander Holyfield's boxing though, because that was a much better game.
I've never even heard of that one.
It was on the Sega, and then Fight Night. Fight Night is probably the best one. I think it's Fight Night. It's the best one I've ever played. I used to love haymakers, man. You just set them up and just knock people the fuck out. Chef James, again, thank you. Pence just needs to use Kamala's record to win. True. I hope he comes out swinging because her record is garbage. And JK's, thank you. Biden didn't answer a single question directly. I wonder why Trump didn't let Biden keep talking and then ask Wallace rhetorically, is Joe going to answer any questions or not? Thanks. I think Trump got the message early on that Biden wasn't going to be made to answer him, because that exchange again at the beginning or at the end of the first 15-minute segment, he said, "Answer the question, and fucking Chris Wallace jumped in to save the little shit. That's an important question. Are you going to stack the court? As president, are you going to stack the court? That is a very, very important question. Because, yeah, that's not cool. So anyway, oh, we have a guest. Let me get over there. Hang on, dude. I just saw it. I'm coming. I had checked when I first said it and didn't check again because I forget things, Jack.
Who are you? Where am I?
Where am I? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if this changes too many minds, though. I really don't. I don't think it does. I'm not sure many of the anybody who's on the fence is going to change their mind after this, unless there was something specific they heard, or there was something specific they were looking for. Like if they were looking, is Joe going to answer a question directly? If that was part of their criteria, then yeah, no, they're not. They're not going to vote for him now. I'm curious what you think, Jack, because we talked about this, that it could be very easy for it to end up looking like Trump was beating up on an old man. Do you think that came off at all? Real quick before you answer, X-Bubba Hotep, thank you. Well, I don't hold office. I don't need specifics right now. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, oh, what was that question? Oh, I'll get back to that one. Okay. But Jack, what do you think? Did it look like he was beating up on an old man?
No, it looked like Trump was getting ganged up on because Biden was evasive and Wallace was just going after him constantly. That's how I saw it. I don't think anybody's going to come away with the impression that Trump was beating on him. He might look like a little bit like a bully, but I don't think it's going to look like he was beating on a doddering old man. And if he did, I think that would hurt Biden more than anything else.
I think pumping Biden full of whatever horse tranquilizer they give him actually probably hurt him, because it would have helped Biden if it did look like Trump was beating on an old man. And instead, Biden came off clear enough that he looked like, yeah, this is who he's going to be in office. So, who's older? I don't know. I know they're both really close to the same age. They're within a few years of each other, which, by the way, didn't look like it on the stage.
Yeah.
Trump looked much younger than Biden did.
Yeah, when Trump first came out, he looked like the angle of the light made him look a little old when he was walking up there. But just their behavior really made it look like Biden was just a doddering old man and Trump was a little more lively. It's kind of a low bar at this point, but you know.
The other part that I just remembered because of that question, thank you for that again. Joe Biden was asked, why hasn't he said something to the mayors of these cities or the governors about the violence going on to make them stop? And his answer, his fucking answer, I'm not in office. So? People not in office, people running for office do that all the time. They talk to mayors and governors about what they might do when they come in and what can I help you with right now?
Yeah.
It would take nothing for Biden or whoever runs his account to tweet out the mayors in these cities need to do something to get this under control.
Yeah. He needs to speak out about it, but he couldn't do that.
Well, I'm not in office. He's used that before. A lot of times people ask him questions. Well, I'm not in office yet. Like, no. Well, because the one question the last time I saw it was when he was asked, what would you do differently with COVID? Well, I'm not in office. I wasn't the one in office.
Well, he can use that to answer every single one of these questions. Well, I'm not in office. I'm just a private citizen.
Right.
Thank you. Real quick. Thank you, Frank. I loved early on when Trump said, I guess I'm debating you too.
Yeah. Polly, how you been, my friend?
I've been all right, I guess. And yourself?
Not too bad. Enjoying some debating tonight.
You enjoyed that?
I did. I loved it. I like that shit, man.
Yeah. If only the Republic didn't hang in the balance, I'd probably be having a good time with it too.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. I mean, but see, I come at it from several different views. I don't think this changes many people's minds to begin with. I don't think the debates really do anymore, because they have become such a showpiece rather than anybody actually giving us a real answer to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Keldrig, thank you so much. I hope Pence pulls a "you activated my trap card" move on Kamala, where he just lets Kamala smugly rattle on until she says the right thing, and then bam, destroys her with hate facts. It'd be easy to do with her because she's a contradiction of terms. So I take it you didn't enjoy the debate?
I don't know. I enjoyed it. Like what I said there in chat earlier, it's like it reminded me of when George Stephanopoulos was talking to Trump. It's a town hall, and the host of the event chooses to engage Trump personally. I don't know. Like it's like, and Chris Wallace, I mean, he's one of the last journalists left over. Well, probably the last journalist left over at Fox. Not that he's a particularly outstanding one. I mean, news entertainers, right?
Sure.
They are the story. They want to be there. And I get the idea, but it's like, is Trump's personality so strong that he brings that out of people? Like even Chris Wallace, to the point. I mean, I remember people saying, like, beating up on Chris Wallace when they were talking. It's like, I can't believe this guy's engaging in that. I'm like, well, fuck. Imagine if it was Rachel Maddow for a second. Like, imagine that nightmare scenario. It would have been even worse. It would have been, Joe Biden, how do you plan to make the country a better place after the nightmarish era of Trump? Now, Donald Trump, why are you okay with murdering 200,000 Americans?
Yeah. Dark Resurrect, thank you, says, howdy, Polly.
Hello.
For a Fox News, do you think this will change anybody's opinion about Fox, given how against Trump Wallace obviously was?
I think Wallace's interview with Trump is going to hold over and be referenced. Do you remember the fairly recent interview that he did with him? Yeah. And where, he went in on him hard, and he certainly doesn't do so with Biden. There were moments when he tried. I mean, the first time he tried to get Biden to answer, and after Biden just outright refused to answer, he never really went at him like that again. It's like, was Wallace just accepting that the guy was not going to be forthcoming in answers? Well, I don't know. He went at Trump again and again with Mr. President, honestly, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And it was weird because not only at that point did he not force him to do it, he purposefully changes the subject right then.
Mm-hmm.
He could have asked him just one more. Are you going to answer the question? All right, then I guess we have to move on. And instead, what, Mr. President, we have to move on. Like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, I realize it's idealistic thinking, but if the worst, what are the barriers to entry? And the barriers to entry of overpowering the moderator are none. What's the consequence? You look like a dick? Really? Social pressure? That's it? Why not try then? And if you're, dragon blood personality like Donald Trump, why not try it? If you're Biden and you're up there, you don't want to look like a doddering old man, you don't want to look like yourself, you're going to talk and talk. How about this? You don't answer the question. The next question that I was going to ask you will not be asked of you, which means you're just, for every time you refuse to answer anything directly, you obviously evade the question at the moderator's judgment. Only your opponent is going to be able to answer the question.
Well, I wouldn't have had a problem with it if Joe didn't specifically say, I'm not going to answer that because it was an important question. It's probably one of the most important questions asked all night. Are you going to pack the court?
Especially when not only is it a great question for the future, it's extremely topical. And Wallace came with the angle that people that are actually worth their salt are analyzing, where it's like, is Trump just trying to push someone else in there so it doesn't make it an election issue? Well, it's also like, if it goes to the Supreme Court, it's in Trump's interest that somebody he nominated and is a conservative judge is there. An originalist rather than conservative is there. Yeah. And Wallace came with that, but you're not asking any of these insightful questions of both of Biden. You're merely asking them of just Trump. Like, is it not of your interest, sir, that there's a hold off on confirming the judge?
Well, not just that. The packing the court question is important because, okay, if he says he's going to pack the court, Amy Barrett becomes a non-issue. Non-issue, because no matter who gets in that seat, they're going to pack it the other way. So she's going to become irrelevant. That is an important question. And when you talk about the Republic hanging in the balance of everything asked tonight, that's that question. And he let this motherfucker get off with it. And let him not only get off, because it's not like he gave some answer. He specifically says, I'm not going to answer that. Like, are you kidding? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Because there's plenty of times throughout the debate where both of them did that. They're asked a direct question, and instead of answering, they start going off on something that may be tangentially related, but probably isn't. Okay, that's debating. I'm not going to answer that? Are you fucking serious right now?
Yeah. Well, if it's a politically damaging question, why do it? What's the consequence?
Yeah, and that's why I say I don't think
an impartial stance. It's like
that would make, if he answers that honestly, because I do think he honestly plans to pack the court if he wins. That hurts him. It really does, guys, because that is not something most Americans support, and especially when you have Ruth Bader Ginsburg's own words. These people, her dying wish, and then you have her own words. I think 9 is the perfect amount. Or I think 9 is just the right amount. I forget her exact verbiage there. But, I mean, St. Ruth is on record 9. Good luck.
We have to ask probably the most important question of the night so far, though. What'd you think of the Lords of the Night comic book?
No, I loved it. Grizel is a great artist. And a really creative one at that. Yeah, it's fantastic. Monkey is Hulk or Hulkoid.
It's Mulkey.
Yeah, no, it works. I mean, Grizel has done so many great pieces of art. I mean, he did your original nipple twister one, didn't he?
Nipple twister one.
Yeah, so there's one of Lady Monkey twisting your nipple in front of your microphone. Remember that one from back in the day? That's Grisella too.
That sounds familiar. The one that I remember him from is from the because he did all the comic book covers and he did mine first, and that's the one that I remember so much. It was pinned for the longest time on my Twitter
with the stairs.
Yeah, because I fucking love that comic.
Yeah.
And then to see him actually make a full-fledged comic of it, I'm like, oh, that is awesome, and hit on so many things. So you coming in for Crystal or for Phil. And Jack having just fucked with you about it. That was funny as hell. Yeah, I did the nipple twisting art. Yeah, it sounds familiar, but remember my brain, you guys. I apologize for not remembering exactly.
Thank you, Polly's Potato, for the $5. Wait, I'm working today. Slave driver. Oh, well.
Those things happen.
But thank you. I appreciate it. I don't... I agree with your statement, and I've heard a bunch of other people say it. Shapiro took that tact. Razorfist did. Sticks. It's like everybody who's online took that same line, and I agree with it. Nobody's really going to change their mind over this.
And again, I think there could have been some. Who you're really going at for this is not your base. You're not playing to them because they're going to vote for you anyway. Like I told Jack at the beginning of this, there's these people like where Donald Trump, you just lost the left. He's not going to lose the left. Some of these people honestly believe Joe Biden sexually assaulted somebody, and they still plan on voting. They actually wrote articles. I believe Tara Reid, but I'm voting for Biden anyway. So there's nothing Biden was going to say up there that he was going to lose those supporters for. So you have this little group in the middle, and I don't think either of them did enough to move that group in the middle. I think a firm answer on whether he was going to stack the court might have.
You know, what's interesting is that on occasion you'll hear somebody when a news entertainer is hosting make the point. Elections are decided by the 5% undecided, because you have this amount that's on this side and that amount's on that side, and you know how they're going to vote, right? And then the 5 to 8%, whatever it is in the individual race that are undecided, they decide which direction it goes. Even Trump said that tonight. You know, this is like 2-3%, but sometimes elections are decided on it. They are.
Yep.
The other factor is enthusiasm, the volatility of the electorate. Like, how likely are they to come out?
Right.
And it's like, well, these many voters came out, and like, you notice you do not hear that statistic a lot from news entertainers, but political scientists spend a lot of time looking at that. How many people actually turned out compared to last year, the year before, for local elections and so forth? If you have a depressed enthusiasm from your base, it's like, oh, well, these people say that they would vote for Trump. Yeah, when they're standing there and you've already, you approach them with a clipboard and ask them a question. Okay, well, that's a different thing from going and finding your local polling station or actually bothering to walk down to the mailbox with your unsolicited ballot that Joe Biden did a wonderful job of obfuscating and confusing with fucking absentee ballots. Oh, even Donald Trump does it. He sends his letters down to Florida. Yeah, that's an absentee ballot, you bitch. That is not the fucking same thing as an unsolicited ballot sent out to everybody. And you fucking know it. And they're deliberately confusing the issue.
Oh, yeah.
Make them sound like, we've done this for years. No, this is the first year that this particular thing has been done in this way for a presidential election. Oh, military people have been doing it forever. Those are called absentee ballots. It's a completely different thing, and you fucking know it.
Yeah, I'm reading through chat. We have a troll there. Remember, guys, trolls are just for fun. Don't take them seriously. They're not to be taken serious. Just laugh at them.
Yeah, they're like really fat chicks. You have fun with them, and then you go on and don't tell your friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the ballot thing, that part came up, and here's the thing. I'm not necessarily against mail-in voting and all that. The states that do it, they have a lot. They tried to point to this tonight. I think Biden brought it up. There are states that do this, even some Republican ones. There are. None of which were done in a single year. Not one. And we're talking about doing this. The beginning of the talk of this started when COVID became a thing. And we're like, okay, we have to social distance. So 3 months into the year at best. And you're talking about implementing a system that has checks and balances to it, as those other ones do. The people who set up the Colorado system, they've said, we probably can't do this nationally in 1 year. We couldn't do it in our state in 1 year. Trump pointing out that there's the, what's the word I'm looking for? Opportunity for fraud is not a moot point. At the very least, what people should be saying is, okay, well, we will keep a very close eye on that. And instead, they're like, nah, it could never happen. Like, but it does. And my favorite answer to it is, well, the only time it's happened has been Republicans. Like, but that still happened. And I fucking hate that. I hate that whole fucking argument. If you want to make it, you can. Fine. I don't give a shit. But you need to set it up the right way, because what's going on right now shouldn't be allowed to happen. Even though it was only 9 votes that Trump was talking about found in that trash can, that is still 9 fucking votes. My state was decided by 10,000 votes in 2016. Enough of those 9 add up. We saw way too many in 2018, way too many elections where you had somebody who won on election night by a decent margin, like 5%, and then end up losing by 5% when the mail-in votes were counted. Which is really weird, considering typically mail-in ballots lean right, because a lot of those are military ballots. By the way, you know what kind of ballots were found in that trash can? Military ballots.
Mm-hmm. The small parts of the story, which should be like the details of the story, which is what the news entertainer should be covering, by the way, but aren't.
Yeah.
How is a court deciding that votes, it's one envelope and then it's put inside of another, so you can't see who they voted for.
Yes.
And you can't decide which one to toss, but no, those ones should be counted as well. Well, then what the fuck is the point in the system? You might as well be voting out in public if that's the case.
Uh-huh.
And the whole idea of a secret ballot is that it's a secret ballot, and it's only the the pollsters, not the bad polls, but the electoral polls, are under all kinds of legal obligations and legal penalties for violating them and so forth. I mean, how are you going to let the opened ballots be counted in that way? It's like, oh, we're going to put all these through. I mean, that's 2016, 30,000 new Hillary Clinton emails found. 2020, 30,000 new Joe Biden votes found.
Sin Nikki, thank you, says, love you, Monk, love you back. Sharing this on my page will hit Nuts up for links later. Is Nuts here? Did she go to bed? Wasn't she here earlier?
She was here earlier.
I always miss when she goes to bed and then I feel bad. We have Becca here. Hi, Becca.
Yeah, she's still here according to the chat thing.
Yeah, I saw Becca. How's it going, Becca? And everyone else that said hi earlier. I was getting my mic out. Stargazer and Richo and everyone else who said hi. How's it going?
There she said, hi, Nuts. As a fan of politics, because guys, I've tried to explain this before. When I watch this stuff, there really are two parts to it. There's the part of me that loves politics, that loves October surprises and your son was kicked out of the military for using drugs and that kind of stuff. And then there's a part of me that has my political beliefs. The part that first part, oh man, did I have a boner this evening? Oh, I might have had some premature stuff going on, if you know what I mean. The other half of me, that's the part you were talking about when you first came in, Polly. You know, without the Republic hanging in the balance.
Yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it? That's what really is interesting. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
okay.
I only
a question for both.
Funny, but like, I wouldn't care if the Republic wasn't hanging in the balance, because why would we be listening to these two geriatric high schoolers yelling?
Oh, I'd have watched it.
First, you would have.
I'm gonna start with you, Jack. A question.
Okay.
Looking at it from the politics side, the actual running the country side of this, did either of these guys make you feel, what's the word I'm looking for here, safe with them as president?
No, nobody explained anything. It was all distractions and end runs and half answers and interruptions. I kind of know what to expect from both of them, but yeah, if I was on the fence, I would have nothing to work with from this one. This was a big slap fight.
Polly?
Yeah, that's not too far off from my thought on it. I mean, Trump's going to Trump, and what I saw from Biden was 2 weeks of affirmations from those around him that, Joe, you're a strong man. You can't let him bully you around. And he went in there with the attitude of not being bullied around. He let himself get flustered by Trump's attitude, right? Keep yapping. Oh, you're a clown. I bet you that's the first time there's been that direct of an insult in a so-called presidential debate. Yeah, slap fight. The whole thing was a fucking comedic train wreck. Yeah, there's lots of funny material, but all I was hearing over and over again were lines that were going to be clipped and used by news entertainers in their round circles of intellect to repeat. I cannot believe that Trump didn't quickly enough denounce white supremacists. You know, it's not that because he did do it, but he didn't do it fast enough, right? I can't believe that Wallace brought up that fucking Charlottesville thing again. Nobody wants to talk about 5 dead police officers in Dallas. Why is that not the watershed event for the Democrats to fucking deal with? I have no fucking idea. But is it Charlottesville? Really? You're going to bring up that? Anyway, it was. I just saw a bunch of clips for people to repeat on Twitter. Trump refuses to denounce Putin's puppy. Hashtag Putin's puppy. Is that trending?
Oh my God. When Biden brought that up, I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah. Social media oriented stuff that's easily referenced in headlines.
Does this mean what? I mean, these two are now, but 2024 is coming. Are debates just useless now, other than a clippable moment? Real quick, Johnny, thank you. If I were on the fence before, I might as well buy real estate on there now because I won't be budging for a while. Fair enough. Thank you for the donation. Is there any point to debates anymore? This presidential, because it seems and I figured this going in that that's what it's going to be. Everybody wants that moment that the debate is going to be remembered for. And in past years, it's something that has just come up, you know. Reagan answering about his age. He knew it was coming, so he had a joke ready, and I'm not going to hold his youthful inexperience against him. But the rest of it was mostly about policy and stuff. And now it seems it's just about, can I get that clip?
Yeah. Thank you, Frank, for the $2. There was even a case where they just found enough ballots in the trunk of a car to win for the Democrats. Franken or something was the name that was around it. Remember that? Like,
oh yeah, the Al Franken one for the Senate. Yeah.
Really? I don't remember that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were found in the trunk of a Franken. I can't remember if it was a supporter, or if he actually worked for the campaign. Found in the trunk of his car. Just happened to find him. Huh.
Is there a point in debate? But then you said in debates, but you said like presidential debates specifically.
Well, I think right now with presidential debates, because nobody pays that much attention to the other ones. Maybe if you have a big one like McConnell's up right now and they really want to defeat him. So if his debate gets covered at all, maybe you'll have it there. But for the most part, I think it's presidential. Yeah.
Remember my idea that the greatest presidential debate in modern history would have been Bernie Sanders v. Ted Cruz?
Oh, that would have been cool. Yeah.
Because that debate did happen, but not of presidential import. It was,
right,
after they were neither in the mix, because there's an actual difference in policy, world view in general, and economic plans for the future. You have a strong capitalist, free market, originalist, constitutionalist, individual rights. That's Cruz. And on the other side, you got a fucking hypocritical flaming pinko. Like, you can tell where I come out. But but watching that debate was glorious. If you haven't seen it, it's still up on YouTube when Cruz debated Sanders, and it was rough. You see Sanders' numbers fall apart in that he is unable to cite any numbers. You got Cruz pointing out that if you take every billionaire's money in America, and I don't mean 50% taxes, I mean 100%, you take all of the wealth that they have, it will fund Bernie's plan for 2 years. I would have to ask Senator Sanders at that point, then what? And Sanders, I mean, it was just brutal. But that's what I like to see. I mean, when you had Trump Hillary, I mean, it was fun to watch, sure. But what you really had was a guy that had been a New York Democrat his whole life, who became a Republican 5 minutes ago, and somebody who had been whatever the fuck she needed to be at, whatever the fuck point she needed to be at, who became a Democrat only when she was became a hardline progressive only when she was running in New York for the senatorship, right? Up until then, she was for traditional marriage, supported her husband's passing of don't ask, don't tell, was her tagline for abortion was safe, legal, and rare. Then she runs for the senatorship in New York. It's gay rights all day, abortion on demand, and we need to revamp the military for LGBTQ inclusion. I mean, that's so. I mean, really, are either one of these people who they claim to be? You had a corporate Democrat and a corporate guy who had found himself on the wrong side of the opinion of Wall Street. Sure, the debates were fun to watch, but there really wasn't a difference in worldview of being debated there. There was, I am the swamp and I want to drain the swamp.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy the fun side of it. I really do. But then the politics side becomes a reality. And God, I wish Biden would have answered that question. I guess his not answering told me what I needed to know. Stacking the court is not a good thing. That's going to start a fight you can't win.
There is an opportunity in this, though. I think it's going to be missed, in my opinion. But it's the Democrats right now, especially in the House, that are screaming to lessen the power and authority and reach of the Supreme Court. Oh, yeah? Let's do that then. Is that what you wanted? Cool. Like, I mean, if Democrats were suddenly screaming we need to lessen the authority of the executive office, that Congress needs to reassert its legislative authority and not having the president write quasi legislation through executive orders, I'd be all for it at that point. If you have a problem with Trump right now and you're a Democrat, especially if you're a progressive liberal, why don't we get on the same team here? Why don't we limit the overreach of the executive office.
Well, because they only mean that when it's Trump in office.
Oh, amen. Isn't that the point? Right? It's a, we hate the filibuster, and Barack Obama describing it as a Jim Crow holdover. Oh, bullshit.
Right, right.
Fuck, I flew into a rage when I heard him say that. You fucking lying bastard. I mean, you fucking know it. You were a senator and you had fun with the fucking filibuster. You know you support it. You just don't like it because it's being used to overturn your highly burnished legacy.
Yeah, and you know what? That's Senator Graham. No matter what you think of Lindsey, I think he's a wishy-washy piece of shit. Lindsey Graham actually told us once what he really is. There's an interview with him where he's like, I'm going to support whatever gets me elected. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. He basically said that. And at least that part was honest. But when he was talking in 2016 about what was about to happen with Merrick Garland, he describes this. He's like, we're going too far. And at one point, you guys will be in power, and then we'll be in power, and this is just going to keep getting worse. And for whatever you think of the man, those were profound words that he said there. It's the ones that they're trying to use against him right now, where he says, you know, in 2020, you can basically use my words against me. If you watch the whole thing that he said, and we did watch it here, he's not just talking about how he's going to be a hypocrite. It's going to be how all of them are. And it's just more and more and more of a power grab between each of them, and that it's going to hurt them all in general. And he wasn't wrong. What Harry Reid did with the nuclear option was fucking retarded. It was dumb as shit. And the only reason it was done is because the filibuster was being used against them.
Yeah.
He had no problem with it when the Democrats were in the minority right before that. It is amazing to watch this happen over and over and over again, and to watch them be such goddamn hypocrites about it. At least be honest. At least be honest. Come out and say, I'm supporting it now because I'm a Democrat. And, you know, Trump said that when he's asked about the Supreme Court. He's like, we have the presidency, we have the Senate, we're going to pass it. And the Democrats would do the same thing. Except then he throws in, but they would do it faster.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck does that even mean? His answer to that question was perfect. Why are you doing this? Because it's what I'm supposed to do. There's never been a president who, in his last year of a term, there's been an opening on the Supreme Court where they haven't nominated somebody. Never.
Real quick. Sorry I missed this, Frank. I didn't see it come through. Thank you for the donation. I loved early in when he said, oh, no, I did cover that. I guess I'm debating you too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did get that one. My bad. But still apologize. Thank you, Evolved Potato, for the donation. Wasn't there an election in 2016 where an elderly community that was heavily Republican, and by heavily, I mean cruise ship heavy, for decades their votes were harvested, and they changed the results from the Republican winning to the Dem?
Yes. There are and I said this during Lords of the Night tonight, you would be amazed at how many of these typically right-leaning places, or where a race on election night is won pretty handily, have changed when those ballots come in. And yeah, ballot harvesting. Did you guys see Tulsi's tweet on that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I about came when I saw that.
That was just from the picture.
I'm not a Tulsi fan. She's a little commie, but I've been liking her on Twitter lately. But yeah, she put out the tweet that, you know, we need to end ballot harvesting federally. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Ballot harvesting should be illegal. I do not understand why it's not.
Yeah. Well, isn't it like region by region, whether it's legal or not?
It's state by state. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But federally, it just needs to be banned. No, you can't do that. And I love that the people are, no, we need fairness and openness and equity in our elections. They're like, yeah, that's fine to have people go in there and basically tell people who to vote for and collect their shit. And especially when there's rumors, Miss Omar, about people using money to do that, which is illegal. It is against federal law to pay somebody for their vote. Tulsi would have been a good pick. I disagree because her actual politics are very, very left. She's pretty lefty if you read her stuff. She's smarter than most of these that I've seen so far. And compared to Joe, I mean, it's hard to come up with a candidate who wouldn't have done better. I expect the vice presidential debate. God damn it. Why do I do that? That's bothering me. The vice presidential debate to be a little more formal, a little less aggressive. Except I expect it to be a little flipped. I think Kamala's going to come out and try to be the Trump in this situation. And I don't know that Pence can be bullied. We'll have to see. He did a pretty good job against whoever it was that Hillary was running with. Kaine?
Yeah, Tim Kaine.
Yeah. What a forgettable piece of shit he was.
Right? You know, in a lot of ways, I mean, and it says a lot, right? The way that, you know, I'm Dwayne Johnson, otherwise known as The Rock, and I support Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2020. And it's like, notice how Harris is much, much more in the discussion than Kaine ever was, and that's extremely telling. I mean, it's an old thing, and everybody picks up on it. The Harris administration with Joe Biden as an occasional feature.
Even Joe did it.
I know. It's like great. The cameo appearance president. That's wonderful. I will admit that he did great. And when you were talking about Pence, it made me think, like, I want some of the sedatives he has, and I want some of the fucking uppers that Joe had tonight. Fuck.
Expo Hotep, thank you. Tulsi is basically QAnon. Still don't know what QAnon is. Yeah, she's probably going to get that. Before we move on, I do want to mention, because the Rock thing led to one of my favorite memes I've seen in a while. It said that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson supports Biden and Harris, and said, "Don't be as dumb as a rock." Like, that one writes itself. Thank you, Dark Resurrect. This may be dumb, but what is ballot harvesting? Ballot harvesting is basically where you go around, mostly to old people, and you tell them that you'll turn their ballot in for them. And what happens besides that is up for debate.
Yeah, the idea being that in transport from the elderly people that are homesick or whatever, all the various reasons that you might need to help somebody get their ballot to the mailbox or to the poll, right, is what happens en route. Well, if it's legal for the ballots to be open and turned in there and counted, well, a lot can happen.
It's also, there's the notion that some people will go into the home with the person and pressure them to vote a certain way, which is illegal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like it
you
at
can
all.
decide to dump whole swaths of ballots based on region.
Sure.
If we're getting 75% Democrats in this region, it's worth throwing out 100% of the votes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because playing the percentages, that's a smart move if you're a rat fucking scumbag. Does that kill you? That's the actual term, rat fucking?
Yeah, well, yeah.
that still blows my mind. I'm uncomfortable with saying it because people are like, wow, that's a really harsh way of putting it. It's not my word. That's what it's called. Shockingly.
I do want to go back to something you said a minute ago. I would like Mike Pence is like the personification of Xanax.
Oh my God. Xanax with a chaser of Ambien.
Yeah, that shit is just...
Oh, let's not get too excited.
I wish I had half that man's Zen. Holy fuck.
Of all the people I've seen in politics, if I was like, okay, I need somebody steady with their hand on the button, I want it to be Mike Pence. Because that dude, nothing rattles him.
I love the look on his face, that serene look of like during the State of the Union addresses, because he's always on camera, right? He's always got that glimmering, serene, euphoric kind of quasi smile. It's not exactly a smile. He's just kind of there. It's like, are you playing golf in your mind?
His smile looks like he's actually let off a fart and he's wondering if anybody's going to smell it.
Anybody knows me? No. Get ready for them to sniff it. Wait for it. Yeah.
There's a thick cushion on this chair. The next person who sits down is going to get it.
He's like he's waiting for them to go, God damn it, Mike. Yeah, I love his little because it's not even a real smile. I don't know what
exactly
the fuck it is.
It's just a serene look of like, you're currently on the back nine at Pebble Beach, aren't you? You're not even here.
High as shit.
Oh, that dude's happy because he only works like 5 hours a week.
True.
Like,
I mean,
how much of this shit does he actually have to go to? He's like, nobody pays any attention to me. It's awesome. I don't even wear pants to the White House anymore.
He's into that government marijuana. That dude is high as fuck.
Yeah, he's got like some super MK Ultra drugs that are left over from the 60s.
He's on the DMT.
Yeah.
That shit-eating smirk. It's not even really a smirk. Yeah. I'm not even sure what it is, but he just looks like you said, like he is at his happy place in his mind all the time.
Right. And slide. Right.
If you go back and watch the debate with Kane, there's even a couple of points where it gets a little contentious, and through it all, he is still that dude. Where, like, you could see tonight, Joe Biden was desperate to not lose his cool. And you can see it because there's a couple of times where you get a question and he had just been very, back and forth with Trump, and his turn to answer, and his voice would immediately go to this.
Yeah.
I mean, he was desperate to do that. Meanwhile, Pence is over there like, I don't give a fuck, y'all. I'm going to go bang hookers or something.
Well, no, he doesn't be alone with women without his wife around.
I didn't say he was going to be alone, man.
Oh my God.
There was a guy ahead of his time, huh? Like, and not by long.
No, he was he knew what the real deal was.
That dude is on the cutting edge of what's happening in the culture, apparently.
Isn't that weird? It's Pence.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Nobody does his free time. Maybe he's listening to us right now.
He could be. Hi, Mike.
Remember the reaction they got? That it's like, oh, well, what are you worried about? That this kind of and it was seemingly moments later in the political world that #MeToo broke.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden Mike Pence seems like, the most brilliant strategist when it comes to interpersonal relations. Like, what the fuck, Pence? Okay.
Doug Resurrect, thank you. Pence has reached political nirvana. He's
right.
That motherfucker, man. And even with that, I mean, his speech at the convention, it doesn't come off like monotone or anything like you might expect from that. He still gave a decent speech, and he still has, the what's the word I'm looking for here? Inflection in his voice that he needs to have at the right time. But then when he's done, he's just back to that smile.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I don't know what that person's name is, but they're a symbol, and they said Pence is at peace with God. That's what he actually chalks it up to, Mike Pence.
Sure, yeah, he does.
His deep overriding faith, and it made me think, it's like, are you like a monk, like a Jedi? You're off on some just, I know the way the world works, and I'm at peace with it. Like, that kind of attitude. Maybe that's really legit how he's rolling.
Bake 4 in chat just said Vice President Buddha. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, this
motherfucker's just in downward dog 90% of the day. Yeah, God, I would like some of that. I'm not gonna lie, I would like.
That's what I'm saying. I would like the cognitive uppers that Joe got today. That's probably going to take the life out of him for the next week when he's bedbound. And then Mike Pence, I want whatever meditative, prayerful efforts that he's putting forth that gives him that sereneness, man. Thank you for the donation, Frank. And he says, in Twitter, I was recently debating two people. Well, there was your first mistake, debating people on Twitter. It's reference Ranting Monkey's account for the reasons why. I was recently debating two people about mail voting fraud. They told me I was lying and dared me to give them proof of a recent fraud by mail-in votes. I gave them 12 articles in recent cases from trustworthy sources. I haven't heard back since. Yeah, show me the receipt. Okay, here they are. Oh, well, those sources don't count. You know that. Yeah.
Evolved Potato, thank you. My theory is that Pence has a great wife that blows him just before he has to go out anywhere. Also, hashtag kick Polly. You know what you did. What you did.
Real quick, thank you, Frank, for the donation. Tell Polly to get a Streamlabs. Hey, Polly, get a Streamlabs. Also, I'd go on a motorcycle ride with Pence. Oh, hell yeah, I'd go on a road trip with him if he's that serene.
Well, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe instead of giving him a blowjob before he goes on stage, she's like, do a good job and I'm going to blow you. And he's just thinking of that the whole time. Because I can see that. Like knowing that's coming next. Oh, yeah.
Especially if she's like really good and has technique.
She got that tongue to swirl around. Yeah. Red response. Thank you. Biden looks baked to high hell, man, nearly all the time. Biden is drugged up. Did you guys see where Trump offered to take a drug test at Biden would?
Yeah.
And Biden's people like, no, hell no.
Yeah.
And this is another time, and I had to
uh,
point this out to some idiot on Twitter. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Polly.
I was going to say thank you, X-Bob Hotep, for the $5. He says, bring back Quaaludes. Yeah. That's why time machines are important. Thank you, Disco Hopheads and Bill Cosby.
Maybe Pence has a stash of those.
Well, yeah, held over from the early 80s, late 70s. I mean, I'm just going to say, I know I said it before, but, you know, the most effective pharmaceutical for addressing clinically diagnosed insomnia. And Disco Hopheads ruined it for all of us. Thanks, man.
With this drug test thing, I got into an argument with somebody on Twitter over it because, of course, I did. And I didn't even realize it at first until I was having this argument. Trump did it to him again. He fucking did it to him again. They have been accusing Trump of being on Adderall for years. Years.
Mm-hmm.
It all stems from this jackass who calls himself a comedian who apparently used to work on The Apprentice, who claims he's seen Donald Trump snort Adderall. They had a chance right here. And Trump's like, I'll take a test if he will. And they're like, oh, hell no. Like, Trump just got them to say, no, he doesn't need to take a drug test. I sometimes I believe in the 4D chess. I really do. And sometimes I know it's a thing because like when he pulled the, should we postpone the election? That was 4D chess. That was them setting up the Democrats to come out and say no so that there would be no delay. Because they did try to delay several primaries. They did delay some of them. And that was a preemptive move, in my opinion, to make them come out against putting it off.
Can we talk about dirty doctors for a second?
Sure.
I think people have this idea, and I think it mostly comes from movies and novels and the like, that dirty doctors are people that lost their license because they got drunk and went into the operating room and now they're doing abortions in Cuba or something like that, right? And it's like, no, these are generally speaking extremely well-paid people. Hollywood, politics, stuff like that. They have private practices with extremely exclusive clientele. They write them scripts as needed. And is this a fantasy? I don't think so. Reference JFK. I mean, the man, he was a sickly man. His entire adult life had extremely bad back problems from the war and even preceding that. Yeah. Nearly crippled himself by doing shit. You know, like we're going to dig the first spade of soil on a new project. That kind of political way. It's like cutting the ribbon ceremony where you'll use like a ceremonial spade to dig. JFK was up in Canada at one point and threw his back out and was paralyzed for like 3 days after that before he got the feeling back in his legs. He was almost FDR wheelchaired.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't come out and they kept that quiet. They had a private doctor who followed him around. He was on constant fucking painkillers and muscle relaxers for his back problems and his arm problems. Everywhere he went, whether it be the presidential limousine to the White House up to Hyannisport, Maine, there was multiple pints of his own blood type available for him in case of blah, blah, blah. And this was before the Secret Service had that stuff available. That is not uncommon. It's just very well known because Jack Kennedy's life is deeply examined through biographies and research and stuff. You don't think every fucking president has that? The idea of like, well, we got to get a doctor in to get Joe some Adderall. Holy fuck. They've got a whole network of dirty doctors that have private practices that are that absolutely understand how to deal with this stuff.
Dude, just look at it. Sorry, I know a lot of you aren't fans. Look at the NFL. The amount of drugs that these doctors pump into these guys just to keep them out there every week because they're slamming their bodies into people full of steroids for an hour worth of gameplay.
Hey, vitamins.
I'm sorry, yes, special vitamins. You can get doctors to do all kinds of. The one person I know who is addicted to painkillers, none of them were bought off the street. None of them were from going to separate doctors. They all came from one fucking doctor who just kept giving them to her. Every time she showed up, gave her a new script, even though she hadn't even used the ones before. And she got hella addicted. And that same doctor, until very recently when they, put down the new rules about opioids, just kept filling her up. It's not even rich people. There's all kinds of doctors who do this shit.
Actually, look at Circus Zero makes a good point. Look at Michael Jackson with his doctor. Yeah, unfortunately, he had like an ultra quack, like a true dirty doctor. That guy shouldn't have even been practicing medicine, for fuck's sake.
I mean, the list goes on. Howard Hughes. Pretty much anybody in the public eye. That crazy bitch that died before Whitney Houston. The model, I can't remember her name. Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Whitney Houston and Marilyn Monroe, like you said, the whole list of celebrity overdoses.
When was the last time we heard of a celebrity overdose on heroin? It's always they OD'd on Oxy.
Yeah, the last one I can even think of was like River Phoenix.
This is Kyle. Thank you. Hello, chat people, Monkey, Jack, and Polly. Hello, sir. I'm sorry. You were saying.
Hello.
Hey, man. River Phoenix is the last one I can think of that OD'd legitimately on illegal drugs.
On street drugs. It's usually prescribed drugs these days.
Oh,
so it's more often, yeah. Ton. I mean, the list goes on, and most of them are not out there buying it off some fucking dirty guy on a street corner selling 2 pills a pop. They're getting them from the doctors. It's sad. So if you don't think that these guys could be doing it, you're just deluding yourself.
I mean,
go ahead.
The celebrity rehabs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the rehab treatment of we're putting you in a state of sedation for 3 or 4 days, and it's like, you want me medically sedated for 3 or 4 days unconscious? Yes, because that is going to get you over the worst part of your addiction. Unlike your average person in the street that's going to have to be awake for most of that shit and all of the fucking cravings and so forth. And it's going to be a restful sleep because we're going to give you all sorts of cardiac depressants and stuff to stop your heart from racing and you sweating and all of those things. Yeah, that's the reason that a celebrity can go in for 3 weeks of rehab and actually get over something like heroin. Yes, they have to deal with the stuff after then, but it's really smoothed out for them. Who do you think works there? Highly qualified research doctors who have an incredible amount of avarice and ambition in the world, and they pay extremely well at those clinics. That's why.
Real fast.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Red responds. Wonder how the fuck Biden got such an IQ boost. The dude was so incognitive before the debate. Methinks there's a conspiracy going on.
Grim says it's frightening that the leadership of the most powerful nation in the world could have such a putrid debate. I see that point. But, gentlemen, I need to go do a game stream. We're at the 2-hour mark, and Monkey's going to try to actually get sleep tonight. So, chat, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations. You're amazing. I love you. Jack, anything on the show?
I'll drop a link to a video that dropped while we were talking. And thank you for the donations, everybody. You guys are awesome.
Polly, anything on the show?
Just my channel in general. Hold on here. I had this great video going, and then I fucking ended up deleting the whole thing because I realized it wasn't going to be taken very well. But yeah, anyway, more videos coming, lots of edited stuff, good things. And we still got a holdover stream that Weibo didn't show up for. on Saturday night for cocktail hour. We've got that one delayed, and we have to schedule a new one. So yeah, lots of fun stuff going over on my channel. You can follow me at Polly_Dub for to know when I'm going live with Noir Bar and all the other good things. And Becca, I did see your DM, and I'll be getting back to you shortly.
And Polly, what are we doing tonight?
Comic book curation.
Oh,
it's Wednesday.
It's not the next day until I wake up. I'm thinking, like, what are we doing later tonight? I don't know. Yeah, tomorrow we're doing comic book curation. It's true. Wednesday night. It's not Wednesday until I wake up, man.
Dark Resurrect, thank you, says, good night, Monk, Jack, Polly, and Chat Heathens. Good night, sir.
Night.
It's Wednesday. We're going to be on my channel tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time for Lords of the Night. All of the AAA guys have been invited, so it could be a wonderful shit show. Make sure you come hang out for that one. I will be on my gaming channel sometime very, very soon playing some more Medieval Dynasty. See if I can finally get a wife. These women in this game hate me. I don't understand why. I have a big wiener. Apparently they have small vaginas. I don't know. I can't imagine why we get demonetized. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming and hanging out. Polly, Jack, a pleasure as always, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, shit.
Good night. Thank you for the donations.
It's hump day, and I forgot to acknowledge it. Go out there and hump legally. That's all. I was going to sing about